everyone, I'm Marilyn from Trembling Art, and today I'm going to give you my top 5 tips for beginner painters to help you get more relaxed and enjoy the painting process. So my first tip is about paint. So when you start painting, use the best paint you can afford. A lot of you will have this craft paint, and it's fine to start with, but the thing that you should be aware of is that it's not archival, so it will fade over time. It is not as pigmented as artist paint, so it'll take multiple layers to get the same coverage. And it's much thinner, more fluidy. So while it's fine to start with, you want to move up as quickly as you can, because I find painting with subpar paint, not that it's subpar, I mean it does its job. It's meant for crafts. It does a wonderful job with crafts, and it's inexpensive and comes in a multitude of colors. But it can be really frustrating when you're trying to blend colors or cover something, and this just isn't doing it. You have to paint over and over again to get the coverage you want. The next step up is student grade paint. Most manufacturers have a brand of student grade paint. I use the Liquitex Basic mostly, and I still use it even though I'm now using the artist paint, because the student grade paint is archival, so it won't fade. It has less pigment than the more expensive artist paint, so it's a little thinner. So it works really well when you're doing glazing or multiple layers, and it's inexpensive. Well, more expensive than the craft paint, but less expensive than the professional grade paint. So it is a great paint for beginners to start with if you can find it. Like I said, most brands have their own student versions, and try them out and see which one you prefer. And then when it comes to, when you've decided that painting is going to be a thing you want to do, then I would suggest you start by buying even one tube at a time of the more professional grade paint. It's much thicker and has much more pigment, easier to mix, easier to spread, easier to cover, all those things. And it is archival, and you can, most tubes will tell you on the back where all the information is, what grade of archival it is, because some colors are a bit more fugitive. Like if you buy a neon pink artist grade, it's not archival, but most other colors are. There are a few that are not. And if you want to know more about the paint, go on to each manufacturer's website. They have a wealth of information about light fastness and mixability and opaqueness, all different kinds of things that you can learn from them. My second tip is about paint colors. You don't need to go out and buy every paint color there is. Just a few basics, like the primaries, red, yellow, and blue to start with, plus a black and a white, and you should be able to mix just about any color that you would need. Along with the basic colors, pick up a color wheel like this one, or any kind of color wheel. Even a basic one like this that I've had for years will work. And learn how to use it. There are lots of YouTube videos on how to use the color wheel. And with the color wheel and your basic paint colors, you should have no problem in mixing any color that you want. Okay, on to tip number 3. Okay, so my third tip is about brushes. You don't need a lot of brushes. You don't need really expensive brushes, but I would caution you not to buy brushes like from the dollar store, because they tend to fall apart and you get little hairs in your painting. The 3 brushes that would be best to start with would be a big wash brush. This one is a 1 inch. You can get them bigger. If you think you can handle a bigger brush, by all means get a bigger one. A filbert brush is also a really good brush to have. Sorry about my shaking. It's great for, especially if you get a medium-sized one like this. It's great for getting into tiny places. It's good for blending. And of course you need a smaller detail brush to get those fine lines and into smaller areas. And as you go along, you will of course build up and end up with, I don't know if you can see it on the video, over here. I have a collection of brushes that I've managed to get over many years. The other thing about brushes is to make sure you clean them well when you're finished your painting, because any paint, especially acrylic paint, left in the brush will dry hard. Acrylic paint is basically plastic. So once it dries, it's almost impossible to get out, if not impossible. I like to use this to clean my brushes. It's called the Master's Brush Cleaner. Comes in a little jar like this, and it's like a cake. So you wet your brush, you rub it in this cake of soap, give it a good cleaning, and then rinse it well. And when you're drying your brushes, lay them flat to dry, because if you stand them like this in a jar, all the water from the brush runs down into the ferrule, which is this part right here, and it loosens the glue and actually swells the shaft of the brush and makes the coating crack, and it will ruin your brush tips over time. So lay them flat, let them dry, then you can stick them down in your holder. Okay, on to tip number 4. Okay, tip number 4 is about keeping your paint wet, both on the palette and on your canvas, so you can blend. And that's probably the thing I get asked the most, how to keep acrylic paint from drying out, because it dries very fast. One thing you can do is get yourself a spray bottle like this. This is actually meant for makeup, hairspray maybe. I bought it off Amazon years ago. It has fine mist, so it doesn't have great big droplets that will end up on your canvas. But any spray bottle will do to start if you don't have one like this. But if you happen to be able to get one like this, it's the best one. The other thing you can do, well, you can spray your canvas before you start with this. You can also spray the paint on your palette as you go along to keep it wet. There are paint palettes that you can buy that will keep the paint wet. They have covers on them. I have one right here, actually, that I can show you. So it has a cover. Inside there's, inside there's, this is a wet sponge, and there are special papers that you can lay over it, but palette paper or parchment paper, plastic wrap, anything will work. And then you can keep the lid on it when you're not actually using it, and it will keep the paint wet for up to a week. I've had it in there. So it's a great way to save on paint, so you're not wasting it. The other thing you can do is when you're finished your painting session for the day, if you don't have a palette like this, you can use plastic wrap and cover whatever surface you're using as a palette. And plastic wrap works really well. Tin foil, anything that will go down over the paint and seal it will work really well. And give it a little spray, light spray, before you paint, before you cover it. The other bit of advice about keeping paint wet is when you're putting your paint on the palette, if you have a bigger blob of paint versus a small spread out blob, the bigger blob will stay wet a little bit longer. There are also mediums you can get to extend the drying time. I don't like using them because some of them, extend it too long, I don't want to wait 3 days for my paint to dry. That's why I use acrylics. If I had the patience to wait, I'd use oils, but I don't. So, but I mean, you can go in and investigate them and see if maybe it will suit your style of painting. Also, keep your room a little cooler. I don't have problems because I live in the north, and even in summer it's not overly warm. But anyone who lives in a much warmer climate, try and keep your room, your art room, as cool as you can. That will help keep the paint wet longer. Okay, so on to our last tip, tip number 5. So tip number 5 is about how to transfer your reference photo onto your canvas, or how to draw whatever you want to paint onto your canvas. I use a watercolor pencil. The reason I use this is because it's easily removed, and it's easily covered up with acrylic paint. If you use a graphite pencil, sometimes they tend to bleed through the paint, come through the paint. So I discovered this trick a while ago, and this is just a basic watercolor pencil from Michael's. You don't need an expensive one, as long as it will mark on your paper. And you can get a full package, because that way you can use a contrasting color to whatever ground you have on your canvas. And you can draw over light things or dark things or whatever. There are a lot of other ways to get your reference photo onto a canvas. And I actually have a video which I will put in put a card up for you, and link to the blog post in the descriptions. And don't worry about tracing, because when you're first beginning, your focus should be on learning the ins and outs of the paint and how to mix colors and how to make shadows. You shouldn't have to worry about getting everything exactly right if you're not great at drawing. And by tracing, eventually you will learn all of these things about perspective and distance and how to get everything where it's supposed to go, and you won't need to trace anymore. But to start off with, it's a great idea. Anyway, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed these 5 top tips. I have many more on my website. I'll link to that in the description as well. And I hope you enjoyed today's brief glimpse of my studio. And if you did, please like and subscribe, and have a great day.